Hey, what's up, Money Grows on Trees Facebook group members? I have the absolute privilege and honor to bring to you another 5 Steps to Millions mentorship success story, which is super exciting. This time to all the way over in New Zealand, the East Island, we call it here in Australia. But I'm here with Chris and Rachel. What's up, guys?
Good
First
evening. How you
StreamYard.
doing?
Great. I'm doing
Excited
great.
to be here, Lloyd.
Yeah, awesome. Well, congratulations on your first StreamYard and Facebook Live.
Thank you very
You're
much.
doing great so far.
We're not nervous at all.
No, well, I'm sure you are, but you're doing great. So no need to be nervous. I'd love to come in here and do some success stories occasionally in the group, just to inspire people to, get a bit of an idea of what everyday people like us are doing when it comes to money creation and management and getting ahead financially. So I know you guys have had some great success quickly in our mentorship program, which we've been discussing. And I even got a message from you yesterday, just how excited you were for certain things to be happening. So I wanted to bring you on and just get you to talk us through that, because I think it's amazing what you've done. But before we go to the successes, can I just ask you, before you started the mentorship and everything like that, what was life like for you guys back then, a few months ago?
Hard.
Yeah, it was. It was really hard. That's a really good word.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were financially cash struck from fortnight to fortnight's pay. We had a lot of mortgage. We had other debt that we were paying off as well. And it didn't take long after payday for us to run out, and we just had to bide our time until next pay week. So it created a bit of friction, and it was just awkward living, and it didn't allow us to do things that we wanted to do with the kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'd often have no money left over at the end of the fortnight for extra food and fuel, which is really tough. So we were often borrowing and then having to repay on the next pay, and it was a bit of a vicious cycle, and it was just a really horrible place to be in.
Yeah.
Um, you knew
So
the pay was
stressful.
yeah, very stressful, but you also knew
Okay.
it was going to be out as fast as it came in. So
Yeah.
we've
Okay.
got 4 children and we're both shift workers. So yeah,
Right. So busy would be a
yeah,
word that I would describe your
Absolute
life.
chaotic chaos.
Chaotic. Wow. Well, it makes it even more inspiring then, because it's very busy, got a lot of expenses, both working hard, so doing all the right things, raising a family, but more month at the end of the money, so to speak, was
yeah,
happening.
definitely, yeah. It
So
just
what?
felt like we couldn't get
You
out of the big black hole.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah,
So chasing your tail.
with the way inflation's gone, probably all around the world, but specifically here, it's made things a lot more awkward. Price of fuel, price of groceries going up, so you run out of discretionary money, and it just causes chaos.
Yeah. Okay. Certainly, I think that's impacting everyone. The inflation story. I mean, yeah, in a big way, more than 7% than
Yeah.
than what the reserve banks are talking about. So, okay. So let me ask you this: what was it? What made you decide to make a change?
I think we got to the point where we decided we couldn't go forward any more like this. There was just no way out. We had to make some changes. We didn't know. We knew that we needed to get debt paid off, but
Yep.
we didn't know how to do it. We didn't have any structures in place. Um, we just didn't know a way out of it, to be honest.
Mm.
And then I'd heard about Lloyd, and then I did some research on your podcasts and things, and then had
Yep.
a look at your book
Okay.
and thought this is just what we need. But it was a case of how do we find a way to be able to get through that and to
Yeah.
get involved. So
Yeah.
and we're middle aged now still with kids growing. So we just
Yep.
thought we're missing out on precious time with the kids. We have no choice that we need to actually start doing things differently, or we're going to end
Okay.
up with exactly the same.
Yes. So do the same thing, get the same outcome.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So what was preventing you from like making the changes? Like, what was it? You didn't know what to do. You didn't know how. You didn't have like a
All of the
plan.
above. Yep, all of the above. We didn't know where to start. We had no structure. We weren't sure how to pay our debt down. We knew we had to get rid of it, but we didn't know how to.
Okay.
And it just felt like we could never get ourselves each fortnight out of debt because there was never in our view of a way to make extra money. We just couldn't see that path.
Okay, cool. So since starting, when did you guys start the mentorship? Like 6 weeks ago?
6 weeks ago, yeah.
So 6 weeks ago you started, and you were probably starting apprehensively too, because I remember when you came onto the call, it's kind of like you just coming in from the shadows, like, hello. You're just kind of stepping your way in. So tell us what that experience was like coming into the mentorship.
We both believe in investing. We both have been in property over years gone by and done courses in property and things like that. But
Okay.
it was always a case of just looking for the right program to follow.
Okay.
And I think when Rachel came across your podcast and that, then things started gelling, and reading your book and things like that, it sort of became, well, how would you describe that? It was just sort of like, hey, this is us.
This is what we needed.
This is what we need.
But
and
we were very apprehensive at first because we thought, is this really too good to be true? Is this the person that's really going to get us out of this black hole and show us?
Yeah.
No pressure on you, Lloyd.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, every problem is solvable. It's just you just sometimes need to hunker down as a team and get a plan and solve it step by step. You know.
And you almost need that. I think having somebody just to guide you through it and show you the
way.
way.
Yeah. I dare say it would have been good to have a different, someone's perspective on what you were going to do, so that at least if you were going to execute a plan, it was the right one. Instead of, going up the other way, up the garden path, the opposite way. So I remember, so Rachel jumped on a couple calls. I remember stepping slowly into it. And then it was time for us to do our discovery call. And we spent quite a long time. Everyone who goes through the mentorship has a one-on-one with me. It's part of the program. And ours we were on there for about 90 minutes or so.
Yeah, it was a lot.
We had a lot to get through. But after that call, I felt like you had a lot more clarity. And you had a bit of a plan to go and execute.
Yeah. So out of that also came realizing that one of the things we needed to do was restructure our mortgage. So Rachel spent quite a bit of time and looked into it, and she got the house mortgage restructured. But at the same time, we were able to consolidate some of the other loans into it at the same time. So now, instead of paying so much, it's restructured a lot better and
given us more cash flow.
But
we had such a clear plan that went sort of into 30 days, 90 days, looking ahead. So we had a really good vision of where we were going, and suddenly our eyes were wide open. And I remember within a few days, I went from, I'm always the one that's having to pay the bills and juggle the children's expenses and everything else. I feel like I'm constantly spending, to actually, I don't want to spend money on shiny objects anymore. I need to just rein everything back in. I need to focus these on my priority or our priorities. And that whole view just changed almost overnight. It was just incredible.
Yes. I remember going through your, looking at your expenses and everything, and like saying, I don't know if that's right. I don't know. Like I was looking at it, like, oh yeah, double dip. And because we go through the detail of it, because the devil's in the detail when it comes to changing your financial story. So that was fun to do that. And I think it gave you some accountability of, wow, someone's actually looking now. So maybe I should go through this, diligently, which you did. And I guess it kind of, it probably gave you the accountability required to then go and action some things, which you did really well. Like, it was so good to see you action everything. And then what I loved about that is when you did those steps, you kind of, what you said there, you had a mindset shift where, and you said it the other day in a message to me, you said, something like, I'm so glad I did this because we almost owned a spa. Right? You almost bought a spa under the old mindset of like, I'm just going to get this, and this.
Yeah.
And then you didn't, which is good.
Yes, and I'm so grateful. Yeah. Whereas the old me would have gone, hey, we've got some money, let's go and buy a spa. Whereas now I'm like, actually, let's just sit on that for a moment and see what we can do wisely with it, with some guidance.
Yeah, cool. Amazing. And you got a nice simple plan now to put a little bit of money away into your investing and building that other asset up over and above your house.
And the most exciting thing is that we have an emergency fund.
And you have an emergency fund.
Emergency
We
fund.
do.
So we're so excited.
Great.
Yeah.
And
I've always heard about these incredible emergency funds. We get why they're important, but to actually have one ourselves now is pretty incredible.
yeah. It's amazing. Like, what I love about your story is you have everything. You had everything inside of you to execute. It was there to be done, but for whatever reason, it wasn't happening. And it's a bit like when we all know how to lose weight. We all know. We all like all the information's on the internet. So why is it that we have personal trainers? And I think the same thing applies to sometimes with our money. We kind of know what to do, but without the accountability, some clarity, a nice step-by-step plan, the environment, it's challenging, just like losing weight. So I feel like you guys you had everything in you to do, and you just needed a bit of help. And you just absolutely killing it. Like in the last month and a half, it's been fantastic. And you're earning some extra income. You're looking at some other ways. You're not just relying on one income. So that's good.
We're really excited now that we're learning more about investing, because I think we've been brought up in a generation of, money is the root of all evil, or you shouldn't invest, it's dangerous, it's this, it's that.
Yeah.
And actually, now that we understand it more, it's really exciting about what lies ahead.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. It's fascinating, isn't it? That most people just do the property thing, but it's getting very expensive. Yeah. And you want to put your money to work too, and have all those, like milestones in place, emergency fund, no debt, a couple of investments, paying your mortgage off and earning some extra income, having fun. So you guys certainly Rachel, you're geared up for our side hustle school coming up for 7 weeks of training you how to actually develop a side gig. So that's exciting.
Yep.
So that's going to be awesome for you. And what can I ask you? How you've enjoyed the calls that we do each week?
I think what I love about the calls is it's very relaxed. So it's there's no pressure. We definitely focus on what our high points are for the week to start with. And then as we're working through the course, everyone can bring their questions to it. There's no such thing as a silly question. And it's great networking with people from all over the world who are on the same journey as you. And just being able to learn so much on every call that we have is, I just sit there and I take notes the whole time. I'm just constantly writing.
Yeah, I see. I'm impressed. I see it. I'll say something and like, it's really good. It's great. Yeah, that's awesome.
We get a lot out of it.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, you're a big part of it. I love having you guys on. And what do you think of the WhatsApp access as well you get with the program? Is it helpful?
Incredibly helpful. And I think that what I love about that, Lloyd, is that to have a mentor there available at your fingertips as part of a group is really awesome. To actually have a proper mentor there, not someone who just, does a call and then that's it. You don't speak to them, you don't hear from them.
Sure.
It's been really helpful. There's lots of great communication. There's lots of information.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, excellent. Cool. Well, I mean, I think the biggest mistake people think is it's a course, but there's content. There's tons of content. It's a very interactive 12-month experience and a lot of communication, coaching, community, and it progressively just gets better and better and better as you move through, because you guys have whipped through it quite quickly. So now it's like, how do we go and dominate now going forward? It's not survival mode for you now. It's more like, how do we go and now keep scaling this?
And it's interesting that our priorities have changed as well from what we thought was important before. Actually, this is more of an important tool for us, and it's front of mind. So whenever we're getting spare time, instead of sitting on Netflix all the time, it's like, hey, let's do some more work. Let's see what else we can research. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, you got a big workbook to get through for the year, lots of calls to go, and you're only just warming up. So it's just phenomenal what you've achieved. And I can see the smiles on your faces. It's really helping. So that's good.
It's helped us.
Yeah. Well, I love doing it. You guys are so much fun to work with, and I just love it. So I'm excited for your whole year. What's going to happen? You've got a whole year still ahead, and it's just going to be awesome to watch. So we'll do another one of these at the end to see how far you've come. But what would be the last question I have is, what would be your advice to others who Yeah, I mean, we've got almost 2,500 in our Facebook group. There's a lot on our email list. People have bought the book, threatening to buy the book, haven't yet. And some have read it, haven't read it. But I think out there that there is a lot of people wanting to take some massive action when it comes to their finances. So what would you say to those guys, thinking of them in the same spot you were in?
I think for us, we were in a situation where we didn't have clarity and we were in so much debt we couldn't see how we could afford to do any mentorship.
Okay.
And it took us a few weeks of actually working out how to do it, but it was well worth it. It's already paid for itself.
Yeah,
already.
There you go.
And,
wow.
And I think the fact that we came to the decision that we couldn't afford not to.
The cost of
It's like,
we're investing in ourselves, so that the financial side of it, while it might be hard, we know is going to be rewarding further down the track. And taking on your program, that's giving us personal growth at the same time, as well as developing great relationships with yourself and your other clientele. So it's definitely worthwhile doing.
Yeah, and getting you on Facebook Lives. It's all part of the process.
Out of our comfort zone.
Yeah. Hey, we're only just starting. No, I'm only joking. It's really good. I mean, it's all part of the process. We can only grow our income to the extent we grow ourselves. But I love what you said. You know, like, what's it costing us not to take action? I just love that you recognize that if you don't do something different, you're not going to have a different outcome. So I commend you on your courage to take that faith step, I think it is. And I think it's just paying off massively. So I love what you're doing. Thank you so much for being so wonderful to work with and executing on your plan and just doing so well. And let's do this again in a year. And thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us, Lloyd.
Bye.
See ya.